to another dimension, surpassing the vastness of time and space. The Grand Thoughmaturgist is here.
Alright, Earthlings. Great to see ya. I received a comment on one of my former videos asking what first-time players should expect from RPGs, and I've been planning to do a video that dealt with just that. So I thought, why not bring that forward and have a look? So let's crack on. So casting my mind back over the eons it's been since I started role-playing games. I mean, that's going way back, before I even attended the Temple of Thoumaturgy. Bloody hell. Anyway, it is quite tricky to tell you exactly what to expect from a role-playing game, as it's not me running that one, and it all depends on your group, your GM, the system you're using, what kind of game it is. There's loads of different aspects to all that add countless variables to that situation, but I'll do my best in advising as broadly as possible for you. In short terms, one or more players and a GM turns up. Each of the players will play a role in an adventure and will make the choices for those characters. All the rules and gubbins that go with it, you can learn as you go, and if you have a good group and a good GM, they'll know you're new and they'll help you along. As a player, you'll be making the choices for your character and potentially rolling dice to resolve those actions that you choose. I suppose there are some key things that you can learn first and foremost to help your journey into role-playing games, such as what different things your character can do mechanically in the game, what do all those numbers mean, and how are they used. But as I say, learning all that will come in time. As with starting most new things, if you're open to the experience and you don't put too much pressure on yourself to learn every single aspect of it on day one, I would certainly hope that it'd be an interesting experience at least. Give it time. It's certainly not something you'll learn every aspect of, if ever, as it is infinitely deep. As with all things though, don't be afraid to ask questions, and certainly if you're playing with an established group, don't be afraid to ask for help either. In my experience, people are only too happy to help others learn their hobbies, especially back in the day when I started playing. It was so amazing to find other players to play, and it was great to find new tables to join. The more the merrier, mate. One important factor to bear in mind is that role-playing games are very different to other games you may have played, whether that be computer games or board games. It could be you or a group of players and the GM. But it's not you and the other players against the GM. There's certainly no winners and losers in RPGs. I think that's quite a complicated concept, is that most games you play to win, whether that be card games or sports. But role-playing games are a little bit different in the fact that it's about the experience itself. It's about the journey. And it's not really about getting one up on the other players or on the GM. If you've got a good GM, he won't be against you, he'll be rooting for you. And if you've got a good party, namely the players, you'll all be keen to see where the story goes. Certainly not trying to disrupt anything. I mean, we're going a bit into do's and don'ts really, I suppose, but the key really with an RPG is to pay close attention to what's going on and try to work together to move forward with the experience and have a lot of fun from that experience. And everybody sitting around that table or across the old interwebs has some part to play in the game. I suppose another aspect of RPGs is in the name. It's a role-playing game, so people play roles. That's the whole point. Your GM will play the roles of every other person that you meet through that story, that adventure, and you lot playing will play the role of your characters. And in doing so, your group might face some challenging encounters or concepts. It's rare for any of us to have to stare down a dragon and actually deal with some kind of evil necromancer who is hell-bent on destroying the world, or some sort of vastly different alien creature. Well, actually no, I've done that. But you haven't, so you having to deal with some sort of far superior alien creature is not something you have to deal with day in, day out. Say you have to negotiate the release of some hostages. You might have zero experience of that. What about having to face up to a terrible horde of goblins? How about negotiating with some evil corporate CEO who's hell-bent on stripping your planet of resources for his own profits? There might be situations that you could never possibly imagine. one of your players' characters might have to sacrifice themselves for the good of the world. There could be a whole spectrum of different moral choices that your players might have to make that may feel challenging. But I think that's part of the point of playing role-playing games, is that you face adversity as characters, and it may well encourage you to make decisions that you would not ordinarily make, and may well be completely against your own character and judgment. But by playing a role, you can put yourself in the shoes, boots, platforms, stumps, tentacles of your character and make those choices. But the key to all that is that it's just a game, and certainly don't take anything aimed at your character personally. It's not a personal attack, it's playing a role. As someone starting out, you probably won't come across that at first, because it is all about learning it all. But the more you play, the more attached you might get to some characters. And that's understandable, because your characters might become heroes. They develop their own personalities through you. They've experienced things through the game, and you become attached to them. But that's a sign that the game's working. I've certainly become very connected to characters over the years, and they've become extensions of myself. The important thing is that in the heat of the moment, just remember that it's a game. Sometimes you might need 5 minutes, and that's alright. You're only human after all. Depending on your group too, your GM may be using a plethora of different voices and be doing lots of different accents, or using a whole wagon of props. The other players may well be using similar voices when they speak in their character's voice, and it may seem a little weird, and you might be wondering if you should be doing it too. But feel no pressure. Only do what you're comfortable with. You might decide further down the hobby that you want to introduce voices for your characters, or mannerisms. That all comes in time. But it's certainly not a requirement in the hobby to have weird and wonderful voices for every one of your characters. It's just potentially a bonus for those brave enough to give it a go. Some folks might suggest you taking notes during the session, which is handy, as there might be a lot of information that's shared with the party from the GM, and a few little notes may well help you later on in the adventure. Though the counter side to that is that while you're taking notes, your full attention may not be where it's needed, as in listening to what's going on in the adventure and the descriptions from your GM. So if you're planning on taking notes, I'd do bare minimum at first, so that your concentration can be on learning the game itself and seeing what it's all about. And I suppose the last bit of advice that I can offer for this video is that you could always do a little bit of research. Back in the day when I first started playing role-playing games, it was long before interdimensional communication and the interwebs, so it was something you learnt about through friends generally. There'd be a whole lot of us nerds hiding in the shadows, talking about the latest games, and we would have been encouraged to play by someone we knew. Nowadays though, there's a whole wealth of information about so many aspects of the hobby that most questions you'll have are a simple search away. But that can be a bit of a double-edged sword, as if you spend hours and hours watching videos of other groups playing, you'd have to understand that that might not be how the game you attend plays, and different dungeon masters run different ways. It certainly gives you an insight of how a role-playing game is played, but at the same time shouldn't be taken as a definitive way that the role-playing game is played. Yeah, that's tricky. What do you think? Let me know in the comments if you think it's a good idea to watch loads of groups playing the game that you're going to play before playing it, or if you think it's better to go in blind. So hopefully that answers the comment to some degree, and I hope that'll go some way as to give you a little bit of knowledge about what to expect as a first time player. Make sure you subscribe, click the old bell so this platform will let you know when my next video goes on, and I'll catch you in the next one. TTFN.